Listen to me. I want you to take a deep breath, and I want you to really, really hear me right now. This is a topic that nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to think about, let alone talk about. But we have got to talk about it. Because the reality of life is that one day, one of you is going to leave this earth before the other. And if you are the spouse left behind, you are going to be facing a level of emotional grief that is absolutely paralyzing. But do you know what makes that grief infinitely worse? What turns a tragedy into an absolute catastrophe? It is when financial devastation hits you at the exact same time because you did not know what happens to the money when a spouse dies. I see it all the time. You are sitting there, your heart is completely broken, you are in an emotional fog, and suddenly the doorbell rings, or the mail arrives, or you look at your bank account, and you realize, I don't know how to pay the bills. I don't know where the accounts are. My income just cut in half, and I am terrified. That is the fear, isn't it? The fear of the unknown. The fear that you will lose your home, that you will run out of money, that you will make a mistake that ruins your security for the rest of your life. So let's clear the fog right now. I am going to tell you exactly what happens, the massive financial traps that wait for you in those first few weeks, and the exact steps you must take to protect your security. Because you are worth protecting. Your security is everything. The very first thing that happens when a spouse passes away is that the clock starts ticking on your income, and most people have no idea how brutal this clock can be. If you are both retired and you are both collecting Social Security, you need to understand this right now. One of those checks is going to disappear completely. When your spouse dies, you do not get to keep both your Social Security check and their Social Security check. The law says you only get to keep the larger of the two. Think about what that means for your household budget. If you were getting $2,000 a month and your spouse was getting $1,800 a month, that $1,800 check stops. Just like that, your household income drops by almost half. But guess what doesn't drop by half? Your property taxes. Your homeowner's insurance. Your electric bill. Your food costs don't drop by half just because you are eating alone. This is the income shock that destroys retirees, and the fear of it keeps so many of you up at night. You ask yourself, how will I survive on just one income? And then comes the next big question, what happens to the retirement accounts? What happens to the 401k, the IRA, the pensions? Here is where the greatest mistakes are made, and I need you to stand in your truth and promise me you will not do what I am about to warn you against. When a spouse passes away, everyone, your relatives, your neighbors, insurance agents, financial advisors who suddenly appear out of nowhere, they are all going to start telling you what you have to do with the money. An insurance agent might show up with a life insurance check and say, just sign this over to me, I'll deposit it into this beautiful annuity for you, and you'll be safe. Or a well-meaning child will say, Mom, Dad, you need to sell the house right away and move closer to me. To prevent this, you must look at your accounts today, while you are both alive and well. Are your checking and savings accounts held jointly with rights of survivorship? They need to be. If they are joint, you can keep using that account to pay the mortgage, the utilities, and the insurance without interruption. And when you do notify the bank of the passing, do not immediately strip their name off every account. Keep their name on the primary checking account for at least 6 months. Why? Because checks are going to come in the mail made out to your deceased spouse, reimbursements, insurance payouts, dividend checks, and if their name is completely gone from the account, you will not be able to deposit them. What about the debt? This is a massive fear. People think, am I responsible for my spouse's credit card debt? Do I have to pay off the mortgage right away? Listen to me, do not panic and use your precious cash to pay off major debts immediately. Credit card debt that was in your spouse's name alone belongs to their estate, not to you personally, depending on the state you live in. Do not let debt collectors bully you into paying off their individual credit cards using your life insurance money. And the mortgage? Do not rush to pay off the house in the first month just because you want to feel free. Having liquid cash on hand, having a thick cushion of money in the bank, is far more important for your survival in that first year than having a paid-off house but no cash to buy groceries or pay property taxes. Once the first 6 months to a year have passed, once the fog has lifted just enough for you to look at the horizon, then you can make the big decisions. That is when you look at whether to roll their IRA into your own IRA. That is when you look at whether you want to downsize your home. That is when you look at your long-term investment strategy, because the strategy your spouse used might not fit your risk tolerance now that you are on your own. But you cannot do any of this if you are left in the dark today. If you are married right now, and one of you handles all the money while the other just assumes everything is fine, you are playing Russian roulette with your financial future. You need to sit down together this week. You need to map out where every account is, what the passwords are, who the beneficiaries are, and exactly how the bills get paid. Do not leave your spouse with a broken heart and a broken financial life. Security is a choice, and it is a choice you have to make today. Stay safe, stay strong, and protect your tomorrow, today.